Hey guys, and welcome to episode 4 of HTKTT, or hashtag Kitchen Table Talk. I again am Lord Thompson. We will introduce the familiar faces.
I'm Emma.
I'm Joyce.
Celeste.
And we have a guest joining us. This is the lovely
Raji.
Cool. Alright, so Raji is going to tell us a story, and then we are going to talk about that. Do you want to start?
Yeah, so today's about arranged marriages, about my personal experience. I really don't know how to start.
Start where feels right for you.
Okay, so it's expectations, family expectations and standards. Growing up as a kid, very sheltered life, wasn't allowed out, my friends weren't allowed round, but I was the apple of my dad's eye. Anything that I wanted, looked at, touched, I got it, it wasn't an issue. So I spent all my life growing up to the age of 16, 17, knowing that my dad worshipped the ground that I walked on. So you would never think that you would ever get put into a situation where your parents would put you at risk or jeopardise you. You know, I wasn't allowed boyfriends, I wasn't allowed my friends to come around and socialise with me just in case. My upbringing was infected as such. So I turned 17, 18, and it was, sorry about this.
Live TV people.
Can't take me anywhere.
So no, didn't want to get infected, no boyfriends, etc.
Yeah, so at the age of 17, it was a conversation with my father, my mother and my brothers that, the time would come, you're going to get married, and do you want to get married? And obviously growing up in that kind of society, not knowing anything different, it's just a human reaction as an Indian Punjabi girl that's brought up with such morals to accept what your parents are saying, and if you say no, you can almost be pushed out or made to feel like you're not a good Indian or not a good Asian heritage background, or not stereotyping anybody here. So with me, I think one of the reasons why I said yes is because I wanted to get the hell out of the house. I wanted to be me. And I always knew living in the household, I was different. I wasn't a typical Indian girl. Bit of a nutter, not that you believe it.
I do.
They're supposed to be my friends. So yeah, it was, I didn't know what I was doing, I did it because it was expected, and I wanted to get out of the house, and I wanted to be free, I wanted to be around my friends, I wanted to wear what I wanted to wear, cut my hair and wear makeup and do all the things that girls should do. So it happened like a gunshot, just like that. I'll never forget it, I'll never forget the day that my parents said we're going to go up to Leicester to go and see family. Went to my aunt's house, sat there, and there was a guy sitting in the room. Me, obviously you guys know me, I'm a very bubbly person. I'll talk to the wall if I have to. Don't get me in. Yeah. I've got to talk to Frank about that. But yeah, it was, I'll talk to anybody, and I spoke to him, and he was alright. I didn't really know the difference between good looking and, ugly men at that time, because I weren't really into that. I was a virgin, I was 17, 18, and I never really knew about fancying boys or anything like that. So on the drive home, I remember my mum said to me, what did you think of him? And me being naive, I was like, yeah, he's nice. Not realising what I was setting myself up for.
Yeah, but he's nice, and that's your future husband.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, see you later, bye, good marriage, see you. So yeah, it literally happened in a gunshot, It's like, yeah, he's nice. And then within a week or so, they've come down from Leicester, we're getting engaged, and I'm just like a rabbit in the headlights, and it's just, whoa, this is happening. Before I knew it, wedding plans were happening, parents spent a ridiculous amount of money on my wedding. I'm convinced that's the reason to this day that my dad doesn't talk to me, because he wasted his money. Should have saved your money and put you in a registry office, Dad. But yeah, it was really scary. That's the only way that I can describe it, because it's going from an upbringing of being an apple of my dad's eye, and then my dad sheltered me as a kid and not allowed boyfriends, and sex was a bad thing unless you was married, and you only have sex to have kids, and so I was very naive, and this is all I knew. Got married. The day went like a gunshot, complete gunshot. I think there's still people that know me don't even realise that I had an arranged marriage. People just think I ran away because I was a nutcase.
I said get it right.
Crap with that. Yeah, and it was just, in a nutshell, he was violent, he beat me up, he took all the dowry, the gold, and everything, and he said to me that, you know, you're my wife. I can't exactly say, I can't swear, because it's not very nice to put this online, but you're my wife and I will do whatever that I please with you. And me being a tomboy, didn't quite
go so well.
Yeah, it didn't really go down very well. And I was scared. I was scared of sex. I didn't know what I was doing. And I said to him, I'm not going to sleep with you. I think the violence got worse and I tried to ring home, but it was one of them ones where in certain Asian cultures they say that your biological parents are not your real parents, your in-laws will be your real parents. When girls are born in Asian communities, families send condolences, but when boys are born, you have the biggest party you could ever think of. It's just how society is. I'm really sorry you had a daughter. It's crazy. So even from then, like I left my husband. I run away. In a nutshell, I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to watch this, that know me, know my family. Yeah, I run away. And you know what? It's the best thing I ever did. Because it was scary. Gosh, it was scary. It was so scary coming from such a rich family and having everything that you can have. And then going to a marriage where you ain't got a freaking foggy what you're doing. And then you go from, oh my God, this, you know, I need to get out of here, this isn't right. And I couldn't handle the fact that this guy that I had to spend the rest of my life with beat the crap out of me, you know. And I was so scared and I just ran for the hills. I remember the morning that I did it, I packed one carrier bag, I put a night suit in there and a change of clothes, my toothbrush, pair of shoes, and a bottle of Izzy Mayaki. It was the range back then.
It was the range.
I even had Tommy go actually. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, but I left that on the can. I really wish I would have. So yeah, it was. I ran. I moved to London. I come to Halsden. My family were looking for me. I knew for a fact when my family found me they were going to send me back to him. There's so many things, you know, little things that have happened in between that. But I think in a nutshell, I find it so confusing how someone can love you so much. I'm talking about my mother and my father. I think mostly my father, that they can love you so much and protect you from so much and then have the audacity to give you to a stranger. Literally give you to a stranger, you know? And it's like, it's completely changed my view on men. Now, as a 35-year-old woman, I've learnt to trust people. I know that I had to trust
Must have been hard.
Yeah, it did, you know, and I know a lot of people out there are probably still in denial about it, but it does affect people, you know, it affects people in different ways, and you don't realise it maybe until you become older. Like, I spent a lot of years hating my dad. Hate's a very strong word, and now I still love him. He's not the greatest person in my life. He doesn't even know who I am as a woman. He doesn't know my personality. He doesn't know what I do for a living. But they still think they've got the right to judge me as a person.
So from that whole experience, what is your view on arranged marriage itself?
Kill it, get rid of it, eradicate it.
Can I ask a question though? Do you think you would feel differently? Because did your parents have an arranged marriage?
Yeah.
So it clearly worked for them.
Yeah.
But then,
So do you think you'd feel differently if it had worked?
If it had gone well, do you think you'd feel differently? Do you think you just feel so strongly about it because of your particular situation?
Maybe so, because my personality was different. Because I never really had Asian friends growing up. All my friends were white, from Dominica. So my upbringing was like a little bit different, you know. Like my neighbours, the only person that was allowed in my house was Kim, and that's only because she looked like a little bit Asian and she was Mexican. Half the time my mum speaks to her in Punjabi and Kim was like, yeah. Sorted. But I don't know, do you know what? I think maybe so, yes. My brother had an arranged marriage and he's got a wonderful wife, 2 beautiful kids. You know, it can work, but I think in that generation of my brother and backwards, it can work. But I think when when you come to a certain age gap and you're putting kids into a different society of education and around people and things are changing, you know, in the 80s things were changing a lot, you know, there was a lot of racism and...
So, do you think it's more, not the institution itself, but it's taking people away from that institution and bringing them into, say, London, which is very multicultural, and then do you think it just doesn't work necessarily here? Rather than...
So you mean like trying to impose
the old,
here,
old school into
here,
somewhere...
In not everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Well, this is my personal opinion. If my dad wanted me to have an arranged marriage, why did you not send me to India to live a life of how you wanted me to be so I wouldn't know any different? Why did you put me into a school and a community that was just white people? Why did you do that? Because you knew in the back of your mind that it's going to affect, or did you not know that it was going to affect?
But maybe he didn't, maybe because you said your dad absolutely loved you, he adored you, maybe he just wanted what was best for you, so he picked the best school. He wasn't thinking, how are the kids in this school who live such a different life to you going to colour your view? Do you see what I mean? Maybe he's just thinking, that school's got the best of everything, that's where I'm sending them because I want my daughter to have the best. He adored you. And obviously he had his arranged marriage and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And so for him, he may not necessarily see it as a bad thing, you know.
Because
so
if
it's
that's
not necessarily
what he knows and what he's been used to, and if his parents were happy and he was happy,
then why would you not?
Then he would assume that you would be happy.
Don't get me wrong. However, he's acted after it's all fallen apart. I can't speak to that. I don't know how that's gone on, but I'm just thinking from the beginning, from the way it sounds, he probably then genuinely thought what he was doing was right, and it was
yeah,
good.
because
You know what I mean?
it's his mindset and it's his mind frame, you know. It's just how it goes, but it's not always the same, you know. My brother was allowed girlfriends.
But that's in every culture. My brother was like that stuff, and I'd sit at home and do nothing. My brother's 2.5 years younger than me.
Do you think that communication actually, let me just ask you, how much do you think communication played a role in what happened with you? Do you feel like it would have worked out differently if there was more, or do you think there's an inherently problem?
But between who?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. My dad and my brother sat me down and they were like, "Are you sure about this? Are you sure you want to get married?"
And what did you say?
And I said yes. Because
that's what she's known.
Because my respect and my fear of not pleasing my father was more important to me. Now, as a woman who's lived in East London for 15 years, you know, and I'm not a typical, I'm covered in tattoos and I'm sitting around different people.
I have a question. So if you said that your respect for your father and your upbringing led you to that decision,
it was fear as well.
At which point in time did that decision change? When did that shift happen? What incident, or was it just something within you? What made that shift occur for you to say, no, I'm leaving?
When my husband beat the crap out of me because I wouldn't sleep with him and I wouldn't lose my virginity to him. And I rang home and I told my sister-in-law that I wasn't happy, and I basically got told that I have to suck it up and get on with it. So for someone that can put you on the pedestal and give you everything you want, and your own brothers and your own father won't come and save you. Sorry, this is a bit weird for me to talk about this.
No, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's the reality of it really, and you know what, it comes down to generation don't believe in love back then, you know. My dad got married at 17. The first day that he met my mum was the day that he got married. So it weren't about love. You know, a lot of people get it twisted and they think, oh yeah, Indians, they rode the Kama Sutra and everything, everyone can have sex, like, you know, anyone can write a book on sex, like, you see what I'm writing. But it's not, it's lack of love. It's lack of love, you know. My dad never respected my mum. I grew up in a house, lack of respect for women. The man is the man, and the woman is the woman. My education, as far as my dad was concerned, I wasn't going to college. That's not what you're going to college for. Learn how to cook the roti, the kitchen.
Is it... No, I'm just going to ask a question. Is it a lack of respect, or is it just... that's what he knows?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it is a bit of both, because I think Sikh communities are becoming a bit more relaxed with it now, you know, and as generations are changing, like my cousins at my age, they've all had love marriages, but they're all male, you know, but if a girl was to do that, she'd be classed as a slut. So it's a fine line between it. You know, like now parents are becoming a bit more open to it because they don't want their kids to run away. You know, because it's happened so much. They don't want that shame of, you know, my daughter ran away and she ran away with, you know, an Englishman or a black man, and it's like, oh, I'm really sorry, it's the shame. But now I think parents are starting to realise that these kids fall in love, man. That's what life's about. Love one another. That's all it comes down to. Simple as. And still to this day, I believe it, and I'm sorry to say, I don't think my father will ever be happy for me when it comes to relationships.
If your parents had waited for you to be an adult and then were just involved in you choosing your partner, would you accept that sort of arranged marriage? Would you consider that an arranged marriage?
Nah. Yeah.
So if they gave you...
But for her parents, I think that was the case. She was of age, she was an adult, she was...
Oh, they saw her as because she was 17, they saw her as,
my mum got married at 16.
Oh,
so I was a year out comparing to my mum.
Oh, fair enough.
And her mum did ask her,
yeah,
like, what do you think? And obviously her and her naivety was like, yeah, he's great.
Very
but,
nice.
Yeah, he's great and I want to marry him and live with him for the rest of my life. Maybe we've got our wires crossed, you know? Like, that's not the same thing.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what marriage was, you know? I didn't know what having sex was. Like, it was all, you know, completely new to me. And it was like, you know, you're born a woman, you're raised to a certain age, and then you're given to your in-laws, and then you have kids, and you do what you're told. Nah. Not happening with me.
So then my question is it age that would be the factor? Like, if you were older and it turned out to be a nice arranged marriage, would you still be against arranged marriage?
Yeah.
Can you speak to that though? It's not.
Yeah.
Can I pose a question? If you had a daughter and she wanted to have an arranged marriage, would you let her?
I think being the type of people that we are, I think now, if my daughter wanted an arranged marriage, I would want her to go and find her soul partner first. I'm going to vet him. I'm going to vet him like no one's ever vet him before.
So it will be arranged.
Yeah. If he ain't good, I'm going to arrange his burial. Like, I would let my kids do whatever makes them happy, you know, but I think the way that I would raise my children, I would teach them how to be free. And I would want them to do what makes them happy, you know, and that's all that matters. But I think, hopefully, the way that I raise my kids, they would know the difference of like arrange and I think that would be long gone by the time I have kids. I don't think it would really matter to me. Even if my child comes to me and said I'm gay, I'll be like, ah, wicked, we're going shopping. It wouldn't really. I don't know, you can't really speak about it unless you've been in that situation, I think.
Do you know other people that have been in similar situations?
Yeah, my brother had an arranged marriage, like, my cousins have had arranged marriages.
And they had bad experiences?
Yeah, my brother's been married twice. So he had an arranged marriage, the girl was from England, you know, and she left him 2 years later, no kids, they were sleeping in their bed, not having sex, and I still keep in contact with her, and she left him.
Do you know why that was?
Because he beat her up. Straight, slapped her in front of me.
Did you ever ask him why he does that?
For me in my house it was normal because I grew up with my dad beating my mum up all the time, so for us, the way we were brought up, it's, you know,
It's what happened.
it's what happens.
So that's been your norm. So why did you not do what, from what I'm hearing, the other people in your family situation did do? Why did you?
Because my soul didn't sit right with myself.
No, but they received it. And they didn't do anything.
No, it's different, but I'm saying it'd be different when she receives it herself. You've watched it happen to your mum, which could never have been, I don't think you could ever say you were like, yay, about it.
I've spent
do you know what I mean?
I spent 6 weeks of my summer holidays in a women's institute, and for me, like, it was just what it was, you know, so you don't know no difference, you just do what you're told, you know. So my cousins in India, still to this day, they have arranged marriages and they're all happy and they do whatever they want to do. But I think with me, I always knew as a kid I was different. I always knew I wasn't that typical Indian girl. I knew it. I just knew something in my heart sat like that.
Alright.
It's very strong.
Well, I want to thank Raj for telling her story.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so moving on from that, I want to broach the topic of how many of our life choices are down to us, and how much do we feel it's pressure from either parents, peers, etc. This is where we speak.
You know when you're trying to think about your argument,
Exactly. I think what stands out to me about this subject is upbringing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone's upbringing is going to be different, and from when you're little, things are just going to be accepted as this is how it goes.
Yeah.
This is normality. So in that's the pressure in itself. But then also, how much do we challenge what we're used to, whatever it is? I don't know. Is that down to
your
our
own
personality?
pressure,
Yeah.
the pressure from yourself on
Yeah.
what you think you should be doing because that's what your upbringing has imposed on you.
Yeah, it's kind of like self and society. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's just about the society expectations as well. I think a lot of people try to live up to that and indirectly fail because they're just failing to be themselves.
Yeah.
In terms of society, now I always say this, and I because not that I've not conformed, but I had naturally a very different upbringing. Like, it was just my mum, so I didn't have a mother.
Not that different.
No,
different to
I'm saying.
Jamaican child. Just my
No, in terms of
not that different now.
bring it in. In terms of what's considered the norm, like I didn't there was no father around. There was a strong mother. She let me watch whatever I wanted to watch whenever I wanted to watch it. She let me do what I want when I wanted to do it. And in that respect, it was just she could because I knew what was right and what was wrong.
But she must have taught you that as well.
Yeah. But I don't. But there was
that's
no.
pressure
You
from
mustn't.
self,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It grew into. So I now naturally, I'm always very hard on myself. I always think I can do better. I'm always pushing myself.
But is that actually yourself, or is that your mother who's influenced yourself? This is a psychology debate.
Yeah.
Because when people suggest stupid things to do, I can hear my mum saying no. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm good. Don't put me down for that, I'm okay. But it is like my parents' influence on how I am. Yeah. And I'm thinking, no, I don't feel like trying that foolishness today, so I'm good. Do you know?
But, like, the thing about my mama, hey mama, she's always right.
Yes. Live it, learn it, love it.
And because I'm stubborn.
Yes.
So she will tell me something, and I will go out of my way to prove the lady wrong, and I can't. I'm like, your mama done told you that, she was right. So now it just comes to the point where like, it's my mother, it's on everything.
Let me give you the one thing that grates me the most, and it's not even anything big. When I used to go to school in the morning, she's like, eat breakfast. I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry. No, eat that. You know what Jamaican, like, eat this, have this, eat this.
Eat
I'm like, no.
everything.
Anyway, she'd give me a waffle, like a little, you know the waffles you used to get from like places, and she's like, take that with you to school. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna eat it. Fine, I'll take it with me. Come like midday, 1 o'clock. You know when you're angry at yourself? Because I'm gonna eat that waffle. And I'm vexed because I know she said I'm gonna eat it. And I come home every time and I'm eating the waffle because she's right and I'm starving. So everything, they're right on everything. Hey mama.
I'm not quite sure whether all families are the same, but Asian people do that. When you get older, you're going to realise I was right at everything I said, and it so sucks the fact that they're never wrong.
Yeah.
And you indirectly end up being your parents. You don't even realise.
It's so true. Like, cause I eat a lot. And my mum was like, how you always empty that fridge? I'm like, calm down lady, it's just food. And then my mum moved to New York and I moved back home and I had my sister and my cousin. If I tell you I did not fill that fridge and 2 days later the fridge was empty, I was like, how did y'all eat that much food? And mum, I get it, I'm sorry, I get it.
But you do, you become your parents. When you're around other kids, I think I took my friend's kids out the other day, and my dad used to always say to us, if you're not in front of me, bear in mind there's 7 of us, so he's like, if you're not in front of me, we're going home, because I don't have eyes in the back of my head and I can't see you, right? He's like, oh dad, you're just being so extra. Like, just my friend's kids out the other day, and I kid you not, I was like, that's it, we're turning around, we're going home, because I can't see you back there, so we're not going to wherever it is, we're going home. And they'll be like, oh my god, I've become my father. Literally.
But then you get people who don't have the sort of upbringing that you can look back and reflect on and appreciate and laugh. And then, so they are not like their parents, and they're glad to not be like their parents. So the question of the pressure and yourself applies differly to their experience. Yeah. But then I would say, even in that, we can only really work on what we're given. Like you're only challenged by what you see when you're growing up. So if you never see something else, it's never gonna be part of the person you become, because you've never been exposed to that. So you're never gonna either challenge it or accept it. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I know, I see, but I don't say you would never challenge it, because like I said, I went out, like, if I've reached a decision on something, I'm trying to make sure it's not because someone told me something, and then I just believed it. Yeah. Like, if I've reached a decision, like, someone told me something, no, go and get advice from, like, certain people, like, it'll probably be one of you guys here. And then, or my mum.
Give the best advice.
But then I would go out and I'd experience it and challenge it and see, oh, is this the right way for me? Is that the right way for me? So I think, in essence, yes, we're taught certain things at home and by our peers, but you kind of have to go out into the world and experience it for yourself and make your own decisions.
But I think you're quite a strong person, so the question is, do you then see how you decided, okay, you give me this advice, cool, you give me that advice, cool, but I'm going to go and see what I think about it. Is everyone like that? Or do you not think some people are like, oh, I've been told by so-and-so that this is what I should do, and I've been told by so-and-so that this is what I should do, and I really don't feel like that, I'm just going to see and be miserable because that's what is expected of me.
Oh no, I fully understand that.
I'm not that way because I don't have that in me. But I'm sure a lot of people are.
And in essence, I did get that from my mum.
See?
So is it
I think your brain kind of zones into it as well. It's like people that go through certain relationships that are violent or whatever, it could be something that stemmed from a young age because you think that it's acceptable, and the way that you've been brought up indirectly, you think that it's okay and you've just got to live with it because that's what you're worth. So I think it's a bit about self-worth and loving yourself a bit more, and I think it's really important for a person to get in touch with them inside as well as outside, because a lot of people are trying to portray this whole look and contour their life as such.
I agree with you, but what about people who don't come up on that idea naturally? Do you know what I mean? Like, you do need to look inside yourself. But I spend a lot of time reflecting on why I'm the way I am, what's made me the way I am. Even when a situation will happen and I will just be irrationally angry, and I know I'm being irrationally angry, but I don't really know why I'm so mad at this situation, and I will go and think to myself, but for what reason am I mad about that? Because I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't know if everyone does that, you know.
But then that's a tool that you have that we also learn. Like, we learn to reflect, we learn to think about it, and we learn to actually ask why. Some people don't ask why. Maybe they're even raised to not ask why. So, but then
it could be. Yeah, I agree with you totally.
Sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's how you're raised, or do you think some people just innately have that inquisitive nature?
I think it's a bit of both, babe. I really do think it's a bit of both.
That makes me think of my younger siblings who are 7 and 8 at the moment, and one of them will just go for it, and the other one, since she was born, she's just. It seems like she's always asking questions. Like you could not make this child smile. She was going to do what she wanted to do from when she was born. It was really strange. But it just makes me think how natural.
But then people learn in different ways though, because me and my brother are like that. If you say, oh, let's do this, I've got to think about every way that's going to pan out before I'm going to go and do it. And my brother's already over there drowning in the pool because. You know what I mean? So, but then he learned to swim, and he didn't learn to swim because he worked it out. He learned to swim because he would either sink or swim. Do you know what I mean? And I learned to swim because I was like, but how is the best way to stay afloat over there? So you just learn in different ways, I think, with that.
That's really weird because when I'm at work, 90% of the time for people that work with me are going to see this, I think about what is going to happen from A to B because I'm paid to do it. But at work, I've got myself into some very sticky situations. Because I'm a free thinker. I just think, just find out at the bottom of the road what happens. You know, it is. I'm a little bit live
I wouldn't call that free thinking.
Like,
Yeah.
what were you going to say?
I was going to say I'm the same. I will just jump in.
Yeah, jump in. I think it's the best way. When I learn,
But then I
I'm
do
not
think
like-
a lot as well. So I'm a bit. I don't know.
That sounds alright. Like the only best way I can explain it is I was having a conversation with a friend and he's like, yeah, I want to live life. I want to like seize the day like today's the last day. And I get that. I'm like, live life to the fullest. But say this was your last day, or you thought it was your last day.
Yeah.
You spent all your money. You told everyone to F off. You maybe like stole some stuff, killed some people. Oh no, tomorrow I'll wake up. What are you gonna do then?
Job centre.
But that's the thing. It's not about.
You have no
It's not about living it like it's your last day. It's about making the most of every
making the
day.
most of every day.
I always say wake up and be the best of you every day.
Yeah.
You know, like my daily, they're not really real, some of them are alright, most of them are rents on my Facebook. But I just think you should just wake up and be the best, you know. Like I've done my complete nutting, and I realised that when I beat my depression and my anxiety, it's because I was overthinking stuff, you know. And when I realised the beauty of it, it was wake up and just be the best that you can every day. And it pans out, it's a positive thing. So I think positivity is a good thing in anybody, in any culture, background, you know.
But do you not find the British culture isn't very positive?
No.
Do you not find that, or is that just me?
I
Like, a lot of it's
feel-
about the negative, the way, not even like people purposely, but it's always like, oh, it's so grey, oh, it's so dark today, oh, I had such
Well,
a
no,
bad
it's
day.
right,
It's like
yeah.
a down,
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Going on from what you said, remember to I always say be the best, but really be the best you that you
Yeah,
can
you
be
can
on
be.
that day for
Yeah.
yourself. So wherever you are in your journey, it's about the best that you
I'm
are at
having
that
a
point,
comfort
and it'll.
Have you seen the third one?
No, I haven't.
Watch it, bring
Okay. I will go on from that and that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that seems to kind of go against the idea of just jumping for it. Because for me, I'm not really the sort of person who would just jump. I always feel like I have to think about what I do before.
Oh, I always
I
think
get an
about it.
adrenaline rush from not
I don't like the
And
not.
stress and anxiety.
It freaks me out, and then it's no longer fun for me.
Yeah, because I feel as though
Yeah.
what if I jump into something, haven't thought it through, and actually it leads me to do something that isn't going to cause me freedom, even though it feels like freedom in the moment. If I'm going to end up being oppressed or addicted, like I'm not going to start doing it. And to me, that makes me feel like I'm choosing something which is actually going to cause me freedom. If I'm choosing not to do it, I know I'm not going to go that way, so I'm happy. So that causes me to feel free.
Yeah.
So,
Rather
yeah.
than jumping in to anything.
I think maybe it's not about jumping in, but maybe it's about doing things that you actually want to do, rather than things you think you want to do because someone else has
Totally.
the idea on you.
But then I think, and there was an episode of Modern Family that talked about this. I think it's.
Punching the advertising.
I think it's good to have a combination
What have we done?
of both. Guys!
Sorry.
No, but it's good to have a combination of both.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not best for me to be with someone who's very, very logical and think, because that's me, and then our rigidity is going to clash at some point, because I like it that way.
Well, we like that,
it's
though.
yeah, because you know. But then
People
there
do
are certain
that.
things that you haven't like.
Yeah.
If we were living together,
Yeah, we
it's like no, because I'm like no, it needs to be like that.
Switch off and
Exactly.
keep
You know what I mean? So sometimes it's nice for me to be around people who are free and spontaneous, because they'll go, oh, do that, and then they'll be like, okay, and let's make sure this doesn't happen.
Basically, I'm the one that always gets you into trouble.
But you have fun now.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a combination of.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have a balance of a bit of everything in your life and not be scared to do it or to take the risk. Even when it comes to me personally, when it comes to learning, I've worked with you for that company, and I learned.
No more advertising.
They're giving us a check.
Stand the company that I work there. I learned better doing my job,
Yeah.
but I failed the exam by 2%. But I was probably better than most people that actually passed the exam. I'm still not over it.
I'll tell you a little. There's some backstory to that I'll tell you off camera.
Don't get me started on exams. It's not
I don't like exams. My brain doesn't work in that manner.
Ask me.
Ask me, I can tell.
Yes.
Yes.
If an exam, whenever again in your life, is it going to be, quick, tell me the answer to this? No, don't look at Joyce. Tell me the answer. No, don't look at your phone. Tell me the answer. Don't get helpful.
Oh, that's so true.
I just
Never in my
I'm
life does
freaking
that
out right now.
happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in real life. So what does the exam tell you?
It tells
it might
people who are
happen
very
in real
good
life.
at remembering things.
It might happen in real life. Like,
But how often
if
does
you
that
work in
happen?
a hospital, for example, you might have to think, choose between this and this now.
But then the people who work in hospitals tend to be the people who are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Go
that's
down
true. Yeah.
If you're not that way
Yeah.
inclined, that's
You're not going to
you're
do it in a
that.
day-to-day life. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
There's
Cool.
very few things you have to do it all by yourself, all on your own. You
Yeah.
must do it now. Very few things.
One of them is
That's
being an
what
adult.
happens. Well, we're all failing at that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting better every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
so
yes,
funny.
you
My
are.
life is a joke.
That's fine.
Okay, now we have a little moment that I've been wanting to get to for like 4 episodes, and we're finally here. This is a section called Pet Peeves, and we're all going to go across and say one of our pet peeves. I'm going to start first. Okay.
I was going to cross.
Fine. We'll start. No, guess first. Guess first.
Yeah.
Raji, what's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve. It drives me freaking insane the amount of comments I get about my grey hair. Yeah. It drives me up the freaking. I've dyed it, but it didn't quite go right. Now what happens?
Oh, this wasn't intentional?
Yeah. No. This is like something. No.
Corner of shade.
That's why my hair's on this side. It annoys me when people go, oh, you got grey hair. Really? Like, I didn't fucking look in the mirror in the morning before I left the house. Like, telling me I didn't see it. I know it's there. So leave it.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm a silver
So
fox.
do we.
Yeah.
I love my hair. It's not easy to maintain. I am fully aware that it's there. You stop telling me. It really annoys me.
Don't be Becky with the grey hair.
Yeah, my pet peeve is about people making comments about people in certain
Your time is done,
I know, I
woman.
love talking.
Slap.
Okay,
Sure.
so my pet peeve is when people leave the toilet seat up. Not when men leave the whole thing up.
I need to
When
ask you a
people-
question.
Go on.
When you guys talk about leaving the toilet seat up,
That's a
do you
different
mean the little round bit or the whole the
So
bit?
this is what I'm trying to clear up.
I
Yeah.
just want it random.
Right, so I'm talking about the lid right now, right?
Okay.
Because my brother was raised in a house full of women, so he never lifts the
The seat.
circle bit anyway.
Yeah, I know
because-
that. Yeah,
See,
house full
no
of
one
women, I
told
know
him
not to do.
right? But I'm talking when you go toilet. Before you flush, you're supposed to put the lid down because the lid keeps all the crap that's in the bowl, right? If you
Yeah.
leave it up, people have toothbrushes in their bathrooms. If you push the flusher, then they've got pee particles and poo particles on their toothbrushes. I can't live like this.
I didn't get that.
Do you see what I mean?
I do.
And then I've just started working in a new place and there's no lids anywhere in the building.
Yeah, but you don't have a toothbrush.
Yeah, but still, I have to flush the toilet. Then,
Honestly, none of us have any issues. We're not angry people. We're just really pissed
Okay.
off.
So mine is. I really don't want to say because I feel like people are going to do it now
No,
to
go
annoy
on.
me.
I'm ready.
No, my pet peeve, the number one way to annoy me is if you ask me a question about myself
I see what's going on.
and then I give you the answer and then you say, no, that's alright. I'm like, excuse me? I'm sorry, person I just met. How do you know more about me who I've known my entire life? Please tell me that, please tell me that.
I agree with you.
I'm like, no. People do it.
They need to speak to Jesus. Stop it. Right. Stop
That's
annoying
our
us. You see how angry we can get?
Sister Shoggy.
So I really don't like it when you see the bus coming. Hey driver, right? So you're a bit far away. Okay, I'll come. Running. Get to the door. Drives off. What? Yeah, that's my pet
So, do you not think it's better when there's like 3 buses at the bus stop? So you're at the bus stop, bus. So your bus pulls up here and stops. So you walk down to it,
It's gone.
and then what they do? They don't open the door there. They drive up. Yeah.
Emma.
My peeve is when you're walking down the street and someone just stops in front of you.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. Why do people do it? They just stop for no reason.
Yeah, everyone's in momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, take a step to the side, and then suddenly
There was a man in front of me yesterday, walking. I'm like, all right, fine, I'm nearly at the tube station. Just to the entrance of the tube station, that's where he decides to stop. He's not getting on the tube.
Yeah,
He's not getting on the tube. He stops right there. I'm like, oh my god.
Rush hour.
And you actually walking into the back of the tracks.
Rush hour in the morning when you're walking and you're trying to get to the office, and then some idiot wants to update his Facebook status
Less than smart
right
person.
in the middle of Liverpool Street in your path on the way to the office. Move.
People from London are lovely.
We're so
All right. On contrast, I would like to ask the question: what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Are we going in order again?
Let's go the other way.
Oh, really? I have to go.
I wasn't prepared.
She doesn't have a lot of advice.
She wasn't ready.
Just pick one.
Be yourself.
Yes,
Be
I
yourself.
like that.
oh,
Backstory.
no, because mine is backstory. So I went to my mum, obviously as a child. Went to my mum and I asked her, Mum, can I fly? Because I don't know, I just saw something flying, and she said, yeah, you can. And I expected her to say, no, you can't. I expected her to say, no, you can't. And so then I asked again, no, Mum, you know how birds fly? Like, can I do it? She said, yes, you can. And I thought, why is Mum lying to me? And then she said, you can do anything you set your mind to.
Oh, okay, I like that.
How many bones did you break?
Yeah, I'm laughing because the backstory wasn't needed. Sorry,
Okay.
go on.
Just for the public, we booked in Joyce to go and see Frank.
I was touring between two, but I'm gonna go with some advice that my friend Kim O'Donnell, hey, gave me when we were at drama school, and she was just like, mate, never get too cocky. Like, don't drink the
How's that going
Kool-Aid.
for you?
No, and that's like, I know how I come across, occasionally some people, but in my mind, because of the career and the profession that I've chosen, I never want to get to the point where I don't realise that it was hard work to get here and I don't respect the people around me, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is all me. I'm like, always, if I do, or if I get that feedback, I'll always go to like a few people who know me and say, oh, so-and-so said this, do you think that's how I come across? Do you think I should change that? And I make sure I go to people who know me really well, so they're not just going to hang. And if they say that, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I didn't realize. So I'll always check myself and like never get like, don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Okay, so mine is, it's going to sound really Disney, but just to let it go. I have a really...
Let's not sing it.
I really need that.
No, as a child, when I was younger, I have a tendency to, at least to having a conversation about XYZ, and I hear you say, oh, the sky's pink, and I'm like, oh no, actually, the sky is blue. And I've learned in my older age to just leave you lot with what you're doing and let it go. It's not to do with me, it's you lot doing you over there. I'm just gonna, and you know, it makes it for a much easier life.
Yeah.
Can I that just reminds me of a story that made my brain hurt. We were at work and there was a girl who was like, yeah, I don't believe in reggae.
What?
Wrong?
It was like, what? So like, I was like, huh? So you don't like reggae? No, I don't believe in reggae.
No,
I'm like, huh? You can't not believe it exists.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I don't believe in reggae. So like, so if I came in and I played you a reggae song,
How's that gonna
how's that? She's like, no, I don't believe in reggae. I mean, no, you mean you
I
don't
feel like
like.
using the word believe wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Maybe she
say.
just doesn't understand what reggae is.
But then I don't understand reggae, that's fine.
So you don't understand reggae, you don't like reggae, no, I don't believe in reggae.
Yeah, but maybe she thinks it's something else. Maybe that's why she's saying I don't believe in it. Maybe she.
But
thinks
then that's
it's
when we
something
went into like going into, so if I played you a reggae song,
Oh,
like
yes,
Bob
you were
Marley,
trying to break it
and she's
down.
like, no, I don't believe in reggae, and I had to walk away.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. What's your no? What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
Don't get me angry. Tom York.
What colour? No.
What colour? Silver fuck, what was it?
Best piece of advice you've been
Okay, so
given.
best piece of advice, it would be from my late friend Bobby. Yeah, I used to be surrounded around a lot of people. Like, I've left home 15 years ago, and there's one thing that he said to me. He goes, "You should always be able to count your real friends on one hand." But he goes, "Always make sure you've got time for yourself. So always make sure you've got some fingers spare." And I've lived my life by it, and I swear to you, best piece of advice I've ever had. Because with me, I'm very open. I love meeting people, and I always have to keep my numbers small in order for me to have a good life, and it works for me. So yeah, love you, Bobby.
Alright guys, so we are about to reach the end. I know it's sad, but we'll be back. But I just wanted to address something. A couple of episodes ago, we used the word crazy, and that probably wasn't the best word in the best context, and the whole point of this show is to create a forum for people to talk about things that might be concerning them, and it's really an inclusive kind of show. So I just want to apologise if anyone was offended by that word crazy, and in that respect, like if you have anything that does offend you or that you want to talk about, feel free to post it on a Facebook, tweet me at Lord Thompson, Instagram me at Lord Thompson, hashtag self-promotion. But yeah, that's the whole point of this show. So get in contact with us, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't, tell us what you want to talk about, and until next time, love and light.